Hey, lovers! Welcome to the Book Lovers Club, the podcast where we celebrate Black Sapphic love stories, one book at a time. I'm your host, Joy, a married lesbian, lifelong book lover, and relational communication scholar. Here, we don't just read the romance, we learn from it. I believe that love stories can do more than just entertain us. They can teach us how to love better, how to see ourselves more clearly, and how to create the love life of our dreams. Each week, I'll dive into sapphic stories written for us and by us, while weaving in personal insights and communication lessons you can take off the page. So grab your drink, get cozy, and let's turn the page together. Welcome to the club. Hey, book lovers. Welcome back to another episode of the Book Lovers Club. Y'all, it's been 6 episodes, 6 weeks of me talking to y'all about books. And I'm just so grateful for the community that I found, the supporters that I've discovered, and just how welcoming everybody's been to this endeavor that I've decided to embark on. Okay. So it's been a while since I've had an episode where it was just me and you, just me and y'all talking and conversing. So this week, I just want to talk about community, specifically the book community, the Black community, the queer community, but just the importance and the power of community. Before we jump into anything, let's recap this past week. So, my first in person book club meeting was on Saturday. And y'all, I was so nervous heading into this. I was so nervous, but those nerves just melted away the moment that I was in my element, which is communing with others. That book club meeting was so much fun. It was exactly what I was seeking. Weeks ago, I had made a video on TikTok asking if there was anybody in Chicago that was interested in joining a Black Sapphic book club. I was not expecting the type of response that I received on that post. I had like over 11,000 views and over 200 comments. And there was just an overwhelming response of people saying that this is exactly what they were seeking and what they were interested in. So at that time, I hadn't actually moved forward with any type of planning for the book club meeting. I just threw the idea out there to gauge interest before I moved forward. But once I saw that there was an interest, I knew that I was on to something. So I've been craving an in-person community space for Black queer book readers, specifically Black lesbian women who are book readers. So once I saw that there was an interest, I decided to move forward with planning a book club. Initially, I felt a lot of pressure because I'm like, how am I going to find a meeting space that will accommodate all of these people? Then also trying to respond to all the comments to let people know that I am going to move forward. It was just a lot of logistics and a lot of planning and finding an event space or a meeting space. I wanted this to be free and accessible. And it's not a lot of free spaces that you can access for groups. I leaned on the libraries and really got to planning this out. But even with that, there's restrictions on how many people you can have in meeting rooms and all this stuff. And with the amount of people that said they were interested, I genuinely didn't know how many people would actually follow through and come to the book club and all of that. So it's just a lot of things that went into planning and the logistics and getting it together. I had 23 people that registered for the event, and 8 people showed up. It was like the stars aligned. It was such a great mix of people, and I think everybody in the space shared that they were also craving an in person space and in person community because, a lot of us do a lot of our engaging with others in virtual spaces and on the internet, but it just doesn't replace that in person connection and in person community that a lot of us are seeking. I think that sometimes the internet can give you this false sense of community, and it's really helpful. It's pros and cons to everything. So I have a lot of niched hobbies. A lot of things that I like to do that I can't always find community in Chicago, or at least I just don't know where to look to be able to gather and share this interest with others in my city. So that's where the internet has been really helpful, has allowed me to find community and find friends and a sense of belonging across borders, across zip codes, and across city lines. Okay, so the internet is very helpful in helping people access things that exist outside of their city. And you can find a lot of community and sense of belonging in virtual spaces. But when you're sad and you're really going through something, and yes, you can get that support virtually, but nothing replaces a friend giving you a hug. I just think that our dependence on communicating and interacting and communing with people in predominantly virtual spaces is also contributing to the rise of the loneliness epidemic. So I wasn't surprised that everyone else that came to the book club meeting also shared that they were really seeking in-person community that they could be a part of. And this checked all the boxes that, it was Black, it was for queer women, specifically lesbians, people who want to read more Black sapphic books. And I think that, you know, when they saw my post and I intentionally called out all of those things, they were like, yes, that's the community space for me. So just how everything happened very organically and how great it was, I feel like that's God letting me know that I'm on the right path. Okay. And y'all, the validation that I got at the book club meeting and just how well received everything was and how great the conversation was and how eager everyone is to belong to this space. I really want to protect the space. So moving forward, the book club is going to be invite only. And I just want to do what I can to protect the intimacy of the space. I'm actually very grateful that we ended up with a smaller group because I was able to see, that type of dynamic. And having less people there, we were able to really connect with each other and really be able to dialogue. And I'm not sure how a big, book club meeting, how that would work. I'm not against it. I think I might host book events, but have this intimate book club that I could be a part of. But we'll see. I'm all about things evolving, but I could see the pros and cons. And I really did enjoy the size of the group and how intimate things were. So, we're going to do what we can to protect that and protect those good vibes. But I'm very open to seeing how this evolves and how things grow. But I'm just really grateful for the people that showed up and the energy that they brought. And I've been riding that wave, riding those good vibes into my week because, it's chaos in the city right now between the ICE raids and just the increased stress and anxiety. Books have allowed me to cope and have given me a space to kind of escape reality. I think that we all play that tug and pull, that balance of I want to stay informed and I want to know what's going on in the world and what's happening in my community. But all of that doom scrolling and stuff like that really does take a toll. So I'm just grateful that I have these books that I could lean on to help me kind of stay uplifted and give me an outlet when it's just a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm just grateful for the community that I found and just how well the meeting went. Because, like I said, y'all, I was nervous. I've been getting a lot of feedback on my social media and people DMing me, telling me that they want to be a part of the book club and they want to be involved. And I'm trying to figure out how to cater to all of these different demands that are coming from members of the community that want to be a part of what I'm building. And that led me to what I wanted to discuss today, which is the price of community. Okay, because being a community organizer has really shown me all these different perspectives that I think that people don't think about when it comes to planning events and trying to cultivate community, and how free isn't really free. There's a price to free. Okay, there's a price to free. And Even trying to be a part of a community, you got to be a good community member. And, something I'm learning now as I'm trying to build this is that you can't cater to everybody. You're not going to be able to please everybody, you know, and the price of community is inconvenience. I keep seeing posts about that on social media, and that is so real. The price of community is inconvenience. In order to be a part of a community or in order to access a village, you got to learn how to be a part of the village, how to be a villager, okay? But showing up when you don't want to, doing things you don't want to, paying for things that you don't want to pay for, all of these things help with cultivating the community. Nothing is truly free. Okay, just remember that nothing is truly free. Even the library and the free resources that we're accessing, that's being paid by taxpayer dollars. It's not truly free. It's still like the cost of books, the cost of the electricity. These things aren't truly free. You know, there's always money being spent. That's why when I go to these festivals and go to events that are happening in Chicago, like one of the benefits and perks of living in Chicago is that we always have free activities and free events that people in the community can partake in, whether it's at Millennium Park or going to things in the different neighborhoods. But when I go to Pride, like if you go to like the Pride Festival and they ask for donations, I am a proud donator because I'm aware that there was a lot of money and time and energy that went into creating this event for us to be able to enjoy it. And I'm going to do my part to help make sure that it can happen and it can function. I just think about the Silver Room Block Party and how they're no longer having that. And people were so upset about them no longer hosting the Silver Room Block Party, but how it grew. There's no way those people could sustain that and keep it a free event. The amount of money that would go into organizing an event of that size, like y'all have to realize nothing's truly free. And if you're not paying money for a ticket or investing in it in some way, somebody else is. Like somebody else is paying the money. And I think that sometimes, people want to benefit from these community events and extract from the community and don't always take the time to think about their role in the community and how they give back. Like, how can this be a mutually beneficial relationship? I just think that a lot of people want to be able to come and show up and be able to extract what they want to extract and don't want to give anything back. And like I said, nothing is truly free. The time that goes into putting these events together, someone else is spending their money, whether it's providing candy, food, all this money's being spent. Okay, so I just think that we all need to just think about, as we're seeking community, what are the things that we are doing to also be a good member of a community and to help cultivate that community? And are we, just showing up and extracting things, but not pouring back into the communities that we want to be a part of? Because it goes both ways. It goes both ways. So that's just something I've just been experiencing as I'm trying to organize communities and bring people together, that nothing is truly free. Okay. So, whatever you can do, it doesn't have to be like monetary support, but even just showing up and helping. And that was something I loved. Like everybody that showed up for the book club meeting, like they helped clean up at the end and put all of the chairs and tables back and just, even things like that to just help support this and make it a mutually beneficial endeavor. Like I'm just grateful. Like the people that I met on Saturday, like I'm real excited to get to know y'all better and to continue to meet with y'all and talk about books. Okay, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't tie in some relational communication theory. So it's been a while since I put on my relational communication scholar hat, but I did want to introduce y'all to some theories today because I don't know if y'all know, but I am a huge women's hip hop fan. Okay, huge women's hip hop fan. I love all the rap girlies. Okay, and the girlies have been going back and forth. Okay, Barty Gang versus the Barbs, because Nicki Minaj went online and went on this like Twitter ran and I don't know what's going on with my girl. I just feel like this is tarnishing her legacy, and I really wish that she saw herself the way that we saw her, and that she don't have anything else to prove. And everything that she's doing is just making her look like an old hater. And it's so unnecessary. I just hate that it's gotten to this point, okay? Because Cardi B should really be basking in the glory of this album. Her album is so good, y'all. Like, so good. So good. Look, I got my concert tickets. I will be there at her Chicago show. I got my vinyl coming in the mail because, I got to do my part to support a single mother of four. Okay, but this album was just so good. And I feel like all of this is just taken away from how good her album is. And it's taken her 7 years to put this music out there. And she did not disappoint. And the fact that she's pregnant and having to deal with all of this stuff, I feel like it's enough room for all of these women to thrive. I just wish that we could see more collaboration and more support. I hate to see the girls beefing, but beef is so integral to the hip hop community. I remember when I wrote a paper on rap beef. I always been about hip hop. Okay, I am a hip hop head. And I love, 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 love women rappers. Okay. I support all of them. Mona Leo, her new song, like that's a bop. Like Ken the Man, Glow, Lotto, hell, Lizzo, she in her rap girl era. I support her. Doja Cat, like, and I know that Cardi came for Bia, but I could actually name 5 Bia songs because I like Bia too. I like all of them. I listen to everybody. I do not discriminate. I love me some Sexy Red. I listen to Suki. Everybody, okay, JT. But I was a big City Girls fan, and I'm saying was past tense, but I still listen to them. I love the City Girls and been rocking with them since they first came out. I just love it, and I'm not just a new school hip hop fan. I love all of the OG rap girlies. I was a big Little Kim, and I love Foxy Brown, Trina, MC Light, Queen Latifah, Yo Yo. You know what I'm saying? So JJ Fad. I listen to everybody, okay? Listen to everybody. And I just would love to see more collaboration. I hate to see the women beefing and bickering like this, but it is a key part of hip hop. I think that how this ties into what I'm talking about today is just these parasocial relationships and how people become a part of these communities that are associated with these celebrities that they love. Okay. And I think that part of the issue are the barbs, the fandoms, the people that support Nicki Minaj's antics and like really gas her up to be out here crashing out like this on the internet. But, there's a theory called social identity theory. And this particular theory really talks about how people define parts of their identity based on the groups that they belong in. Okay, so I think when people are talking about this research, they're often talking about like racial groups and like cultural groups, religious groups, and things like that, these parts of our social identity. But this can also apply to like fandoms and the other subgroups that we all belong to. So, things like book clubs and, the queer community, in this particular case, like the fandoms for these musical artists serve as community spaces, and people in these groups help to define who they are and start to shape parts of their personality. We could go into a whole conversation about groupthink and all of that, but people really do join these fandoms, and these parasocial relationships do start to influence like who they are and what they believe. And we see that really heavily in like this community and this argument and debate between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, because it's also trickling down to like their fans and how they're going back and forth with each other on the internet in support of these celebrities that they do not know. Let's start there. They do not know these people in real life. Okay, but people join these social communities and really start to develop a sense of belonging where they feel a part of the group, and it really helps them feel connected. And I just think about now when people are feeling so isolated and so lonely, to identify as a member of, the Barbs or Barty Gang or the Beehive, or you a hot girl if you support Meg and all this stuff, and how you start to view yourself and have this sense of belonging with others off of this shared love of this celebrity. Okay. And it really does offer them this comforting sense that they're not alone in the world. And I think that a lot of people are gravitating towards that because they do feel very lonely in real life, their offline life. And also, these group affiliations can also help people find some purpose in the world. So there are some people who are diehard Barbs, Nicki Minaj fans, and really feel a sense of purpose by going on the internet and attacking people on her behalf. It's giving them some direction in their life. This concept of social identity theory, I think, is also fueling a lot of the things that we're seeing now with like how people are experiencing community and why they're seeking community out. I feel like a lot of people are just lonely and really attach themselves to these things. So I think that also is what motivates me to create a Black lesbian community, specifically within the book space. So I had people reaching out to me that were asking if they could come to the book club meetings, but they're not Black. And I just really want to protect this space to be a safe space for Black women. There's a lot of intersections with myself and just how I experience the world as a Black woman, and my identity as a lesbian. That's a huge part of how I experience the world. And when I go to Black spaces, I don't always feel like I'm able to find community within that space because of this intersection of my sexual orientation. And then when I'm in other queer spaces, I don't always feel like that's an inclusive space for me because of my race. So I was really seeking a book community that centered both my race and sexual orientation. And now, having experienced that at the book club meeting, like I really want to protect that and have this space be centered specifically for Black lesbian women, because the conversations just hit different. As we're reading these books and we're talking about things and how they relate to our lives, like that was the reason why I started all of this, was so that we could read stories that we could see ourselves in. And the conversations hit different when you're talking to people who are also living this with you. Like Black people, Black queer people, we're not a monolith, but there are some overlaps with how we're experiencing things. And it's just really nice to be in a space with people who kind of get it. So I'm really, going to lean into that and continue to protect this space and make sure that it's a space that is specifically for Black lesbian women and Black queer women. So before I head out, I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page. So the book that we're going to be reading this month is This Poison Heart by Kalynn Bayron. And the book follows the journey of this young girl. Her name is, I want to say her name is pronounced Breesis, but I'm going to call her by her nickname. So Bree, she has the ability to make plants grow and like control and influence plants. In this book, she inherits an estate in rural New York. The estate has a garden that's filled with all of these deadly plants and poisonous plants. And as she's there, she starts to unlock some family secrets. And this book touches on themes of like ancestry and belonging and just queer identity. And something that I'm already noticing in the first 3 chapters is that she's spending a lot of time hiding such a big part of herself and a big part of her identity. There's a lot of fear around people discovering her powers and her affinity for plants and plant magic. Okay. And she's fighting really hard to keep this part of herself hidden. And I don't know, I just see a lot of parallels between that and someone being in the closet and just the lengths that she has to go through to try to keep this part of herself from being discovered. I just really feel for my girl. I'm 3 chapters in, it's already got me hooked, y'all. It's already got me hooked. I'm excited to see where they're going to go with the story and how this journey of hers will unfold. I couldn't imagine having supernatural powers though and having to go to high school. Let's just start there. I never understood that. I don't know about y'all, but like in Spider-Man, the newest like Spider-Man verse, with Tom Holland, I don't understand why he was so obsessed with trying to get into MIT. Sir, you out here saving the world and your priority is going to school. You could learn whatever you need to learn whenever you want to learn it. But the priority being on school when you got bigger things to focus on, like saving the world in the multiverse, it never makes sense to me. Buffy. I am a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. That's like one of my favorite shows ever. Okay. Little baby was out here saving the world every day on the hell mouth. Okay, I feel like every episode it was low key an apocalypse, and Buffy out here single handedly, her and a little Scooby gang in the library, out here trying to save the world from vampires and all types of evil happening up in Sunnydale, and she got to go to school and deal with history assignments and pointless shit. I never understood it. I never understood it. Y'all could go ahead and get your GED. School ain't going nowhere. Look, I'm an educator. Okay. I'm not saying I don't value an education and I don't think that going to school is important. However, if you were blessed with these type of abilities and you are somebody that we are relying on to keep earth spinning and to keep evil in evil's place, I don't think that we should be out here forcing you to take this little history quiz that in the grand scheme of things don't matter about nothing. Okay? It don't matter. It's not important. I never understood it. Never understood it. So already in the first 3 chapters of this book, I'm like, why she even got to worry about this? I'm telling you, if I had supernatural powers and abilities, I would be learning what I need to learn to develop and harness those skills. Okay. That's the one thing I feel like our education system, the stuff that we really need to know to be able to have a very fulfilling life and financial stability. We're not learning those skills in school. Okay. We're not learning those skills in school. It's so many things that I feel like, why didn't y'all teach me this in school? I be out here every year struggling to do my taxes. Why y'all didn't teach me that? Okay, I just feel like it's things that I had to learn and learn on my own and teach myself. It's so much learning that happens outside of classrooms, like, but that's just a pet peeve of mine. Every story where it's a teenager that's got these supernatural abilities, why are y'all forcing this whole story plot of like, and school is really about socialization and it's teaching people how to follow rules. Like I can get on my little soapbox, and that's coming from me as an educator. Okay, I often feel like some of the things that we really need to know to be, really upstanding citizens and functioning adults, we aren't really getting that education in a formal education setting. It's so many things that I learned teaching myself and just being inquisitive and being curious and really just wanting to learn things and being a reader and seeking out information has really helped me become well informed beyond what I was being exposed to in formal education. It's so much out here to learn, and you can do that through independent study or you could do that in a classroom. But I promise you, baby, if I was born with powers or got bit by a radioactive spider or whatever, if I sat there and got bit by a vampire or a werewolf and now I got supernatural powers, I'm not going to be in school trying to hide this part of myself and I'm out here every night trying to keep y'all alive. I promise you, it's not that deep. I'm not doing all of that. I'm not doing all of that. Did y'all watch Teen Wolf? He was literally a werewolf, alpha wolfing, and having to go to school and juggle all this dumb shit. Like, it would not be me. I just be thinking about Buffy. She deserved better. She deserved better. Buffy deserved better. There's absolutely no way I would be out here every night in the graveyard fighting off these vampires, fighting off the master, fighting off Angel when he lost his soul, doing all this stuff, keeping the hell mouth from opening, fighting off Adam, Willow when she turned little witch and was out here about to kill the earth. Like all these things, glory, okay? All this stuff we over here trying to stop. The mayor, she had to fight the mayor of the town, y'all. And then got to worry about history quizzes. It never made sense to me. Never made sense to me. And my girl Bree, I'm already 3 chapters in and already seeing the struggle. Like, why she got to be in high school having to hide that she got powers, that she the baddest bitch, okay? Because that's what, if you got supernatural powers, you the baddest bitch. And she over here got to act like she a regular commoner like the rest of these folks. No. I'm special. I got skills, and I got to sit here and hide it from y'all. I don't understand. It never made sense. Sorry about this whole little rant. That's not even what I came on here to talk to y'all about. But it just be pissing me off every time, especially every time I think about Spider-Man. MIT, sir, MIT is not going nowhere. And you doing all of this for school, and you out here working with the Iron Man and all these things and Doctor Strange and stuff, and you worried about MIT. Never made sense to me. Never made sense. You got bigger things to focus on, okay? What they say, with great powers comes great responsibility. I forgot whatever they said, but you know what I mean. You got bigger things to focus on, sir, than MIT. The school ain't going nowhere. It's people in their 50s going back to school, getting doctorates and all kind of stuff. School ain't going nowhere, and it's never too late for you to pursue a higher education. Okay? Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know how I went on this tangent, and I feel like I've been on it for a really long time, and I apologize. So if you would like to engage in these conversations with me, and you are not able to participate in my in-person book club, we still have Fable that you can join, but also I recently launched my Patreon. Backstage Pass is $3 and gives you access to monthly virtual Zoom book club meetings. So if you are not able to attend in person, you can hop on Zoom with me and we could talk about books once a month. Also, that comes with behind the scenes content, and bonus exclusive content. So moving forward, my podcast episodes will be recorded and those video episodes will be on Patreon. So if you also just want to financially support me and invest in what I'm building, and you see the vision and you see what I'm trying to do, grabbing one of my Patreon passes is a way to financially support my endeavors. However, I'm also doing my part to financially pour into the community. Like, I want to read more Black Sapphic books. I want to read more stories with characters that have lives and love stories like mine. I want to feel seen on the page. I want more stories that I can relate to. And the best way for me to guarantee that I have that is to financially support these authors. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me and for helping me pour into the community that pours into me. Thank you for tuning in to the Book Lovers Club. If you love today's episode, make sure you subscribe so you never miss a chapter. And if you're feeling generous, leave a review, because those reviews help other lovers find us. So if you want to keep this conversation going, please join me on Instagram or hop on over to Fable to join the virtual book club. And until next time, remember, the stories we read can help us write the love lives of our dreams. See you next Sapphic Saturday.